Hello everybody, it is The Last Raider. We are back with another video. And let's talk about how much Marvel hates women. Okay? Because I look at this and all I can say is you must really hate women to draw women like this. Honestly, dear God, look at the jawline on this thing. This is supposed to be Captain Marvel. This is supposed to be the character that Marvel has been saying, oh, this is our flagship character, This is the character that we want everyone to like. This is the character we want to push to the forefront and be more popular than Spider-Man. Y'all are porn stars who don't understand how your tits work. Okay? That's what Marvel is right now. They don't understand that they have women that can be appealing. And instead of making an appealing woman that would attract customers, they want to push customers away and try to run in groups of people who don't buy the books. Okay? When have you seen one of these lefties on the internet come out there and say, look at all the comic books I bought? No, they're out there buying soy lattes. Overpriced soy lattes from Starbucks, mind you. Because they'd rather pay for a brand name. These are people who don't know how to make their own food half the time. Okay? And they worry about this crap. Alright? I mean, let me just critique this for 1 minute. Captain Marvel's sitting there with, what is this, do they have a negative A cup? I mean, we're borderline. Heck, she looks like more of just a male bodybuilder at this point. It's The Rock with pecs. That's what we drew right here. It looks like The Rock with his shirt off. What was the movie? Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think it was, or The Lost City of Atlantis, where before the one after the one with Brendan Fraser in it, and it's got The Rock in there, and they're throwing cherries at his chest, and he's popping his pecs up. That's what this looks like right here. It doesn't even look like a woman's chest. It looks like a man's chest. It looks like a bodybuilding man's chest. There is no teat. Okay, there's not even a tot over here. Okay, we've gone from titties to pec. That's where we're at the moment. You start looking down and you see just really this is either an artist who I think probably hates women and really just cannot draw very good. You can see the face up here. We've got two different size eyes, two different size nostrils. The jaw is massive. It's just, there's no rounding to it. It's just big ass head. That's it. There should be like a tapering here for a woman. That's the thing about female superheroes, is what makes them interesting is the illusion of superpowers that you give them. I've often said it's one thing to sit there and give the Hulk a boulder to throw around. He should look like he could throw a boulder. I mean, he looks massive enough to throw a boulder. But if you want to make someone look like they really have super strength, take a scrawny kid and have him lift a boulder up. And that creates a greater illusion of, because what creates the greatest impact in a comic book is the reaction of it. You can create really powerful reactions to stuff. If you have a person just very lightly tapping someone with a backhand, just barely tapping them with their hand, and you can display such super strength that it looks like it destroys the other guy, and you're like, oh, wow, that's impressive. This person's pulling out some super strength. With Captain Marvel, if she doesn't have the mental illness haircut, they're trying to make her look like a dude half the time in drag. It's retarded. And then we get down to, waist area, which I don't know what the heck is going on here, because if you look at the line coming from her ass going to her back, somewhere in the middle of her palm is where her butt is going to connect to her glove or to her back. And it's really just, And I'll say this, it's not a use of drawn mannequin. There's a word for this, and I can't remember what it is in art. But it's where you draw a rough sketch outline of the pose, and then you begin to fill in the details, or you layer on the details of what the character looks like. Someone did not use that properly. It looks like they just free-handed this entire picture right here. They just basically freehand drawn as much of it, and they didn't even probably didn't do the backward test. There's a test you can do with artwork. It's a real simple way to find your mistakes. Some dude who did manga just drew it as a kid. He had learned from some guys that I knew in college, and he showed me this trick with paper. He said there's a reason as artists should learn to draw with paper before they learn to draw digital. He said because one of the things with paper is you can draw your picture out. He said, but then take the picture and flip it over. He said, because you're seeing the picture brand new in your mind, your brain will pick out every single little flaw that's in it. He said, then you can learn where those flaws are, figure out why the flaws are there, and then correct them as you go. It's a real simple trick for all aspiring artists to deal with. I dabbled in art when I was younger, and because of my job, I kind of damaged my hands so much I don't have that articulation anymore. But when you have this going on right here, you have right here on her right, you can see the hip is coming in right about at her abdomen in the middle of it. Her belly button is way, way low right down there. It's almost sitting right on top of her vagina. if you're getting this. This is what is in Marvel nowadays. This is Marvel art. It's man, if you're going to draw a woman, you would think you'd want to make a woman look good. But instead, we're still on this, we got to make Captain Marvel Carl Manvers. I mean, I think we're getting to Carl Manvers at some point. They're so want to make her a transgender character to check all those freaking boxes. But they know the moment they do the transgender character, it's going to absolutely tank the comic. And they're just too scared to go forward with it. As I said, Marvel is just that company that they're a porn star who doesn't understand how to use her tits. Okay, they're a stripper that doesn't know how to shake her ass. Okay, 90% of a woman being sexy is her being confident and knowing her pose. You have somewhat of a confident pose here. The problem is, even with that 90%, there's only so much you can do. Okay, you do need that other 10% to create the perfection there. And unfortunately, this drawing doesn't have it. This is where Marvel wants to go, though. This is where Marvel wants you to put your money into a flat-chested chick, who's in a bodysuit, who doesn't show any skin, is absolutely non-feminine as non-feminine can get, who has nasty, greasy-looking hair, just realize that, and has a jawline that would make has a jawline that would give Superman a run for his money. You want to see what really good art looks like? These are people in Comicsgate who redrew this, okay? You can tell they've used a mannequin, or they've used basic outlines to get the character correctly. We have a large bust. We have good tapering jawline and whatnot. Not a manly looking chick. And the hair looks silky and flowing. You even have here, even fan art gets to the point where they start going anime-ish. It gets even better. This is the thing, though. Honestly, I wish we would go back to the old Captain Marvel. Or not Captain Marvel. I wish we'd go back to the old Miss Marvel. Alright? The old leotard with the black leotard with the gold. In my opinion, that would just make a much better comic. That comic series, and this is the thing that I get chewed out at a lot online. I got chewed out about this a couple of times. I said, the old Captain Marvel series was good. Why did they have to change it? And it wasn't a very quick change. They actually took the old Captain Marvel and began to gradually reduce her bust size. Or Miss Marvel, they reduced her bust size and kept going for this more hyper-realistic body type. And then eventually they swapped over they did the complete revamp. And probably what declined the comics was you weren't drawing the character like she was originally interpreted. But still, even at that point, if you look at the old or Miss Marvel series with the old black and yellow leotard, with all the reboots that Captain Marvel has gone through combined, in other words, all the Captain Marvel series with the name Captain Marvel on it, if you combine all those sales together, you still, to this day, do not reach the same sales numbers or even the same length of time that Miss Marvel ran in the jumpsuit. And that's because the current iteration of Carol Danvers is just not appealing. There's nothing to catch your eye. The reason why, and it's kind of the jewelry thing. The reason why people like gold and jewelry, there's another reason why people like steel. They made steel jewelry back in the ancient times. Steel is a very bright color. Humans are like magpies when it comes to shiny objects. We are attracted to them. We see a tiny little, you can have people pick up gemstones out of the ground if they're looking for something shiny. They'll pick up like a diamond that's fallen out of an earring. When I was a kid, I would find diamonds from earrings and stuff in parking lots that just fell out or out of rings, and I'd hang on to them a little bit. Your eye catches shiny stuff. It's the way your mind is designed. To give you another example of that, it's one of the things that snipers try to get away from when they put on, ghillie suits and stuff. A lot of times if they've got, I remember I was watching a show where they were, going through the sniper school and everything, and one guy had a set of gloves on, and another sniper at the end of the field picked him out, and he told him afterward, he said, you need to paint a piece of cardboard flat green and cover up the top, and just kind of put a thing to cover up that shiny plastic part of your glove, or get a different glove, because that's giving you away. We're so attuned to shiny objects, and there are certain forms that we've liked. I've talked about, the Fibonacci equation, or the golden ratio. This is where in like nautilus shells and sunflowers, the way sunflower seeds are presented, it's a design or a pattern that is in nature that people find appealing. A lot of times, it's a pattern you see with fruit. A lot of times, the shape of it we find appealing. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's natural objects, man-made objects. Your cell phone, for instance, the ratio between the width and the length of a credit card is based on the golden ratio. This is something that's naturally visually appealing. Marvel does not understand this. Marvel makes this crap because in their mind, something that's not they don't want something visually appealing because their political stance dictates that this is bad. If we do something that's visually appealing, we're giving in to some mythical patriarchy or some nonsense, or we're giving in to the right wing. No, because comic books, at the end of the day, they're a visual medium. And if you don't understand that they're a visual medium, you're losing probably a good 85% of your enticement. The story is nice, okay? With a book, you can write a good story and you can get away with just the words. With a comic book, you are technically directing a movie with an unlimited budget. And it's amazing to me because Marvel would much rather buy a B-list actress with an unlimited budget than to go out and just get an anime chick and put her in there. I mean, you can literally buy an anime waifu with your budget. Like I said, you can direct a movie with an unlimited budget. That's a big constraint with a lot of movies. Special effects have to become cheaper. That's why CGI is used so much in movies nowadays. CGI is extremely cheap, whereas building a physical set is very expensive and very time consuming. But like I said, if you don't understand that comics are a visual medium, and any of y'all that are going to do comic books nowadays, I'll tell you right now, you've got to get, if you're going to draw it, get your art down pat, get something that is really appealing. Your outfits on your characters need to be, just something that catches the eye. When you do female characters, you should almost, in my opinion, this is how you should do female characters and make them look good. Depending on the situation, if you're trying to make, cute characters, they should look enticing and cute. If you're going to make sexy characters, you should make a woman look so sexy that the reader should feel guilty for looking at her. Because at that point, it's a pleasure to look at her. One a pleasure that is so enticing and feels so good. They feel like they're doing. And if you ever been like that, you eat like a cupcake and it's so good, you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna pay for this later. Or you're reading that comic book and it's got some really good art, and you're like, oh man, I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. This is just too perfect to be good. That's the type of thing you need to go for as an artist in your books. So if you're the guy doing the art, just absorb as much stuff as you can on art. Use techniques, like I said, the paper technique where you flip the paper over. Learn from as many people. Try to get some masters, some people that know their art. Go look up some stuff online. If you're not going to draw your art, you need to find a really kick-ass artist. And that would be one of the things I'd say, probably paying the extra dollar for an artist that knows what they're doing would be a lot better than picking an artist that halfway knows what they're doing. I hate to be like that. I know there's young aspiring artists, and this is basically a lot of your style on your comic and how you're going to do it. You may find a young talented artist that needs a job and they know what they're doing and they're really good at it. They just never had an opportunity. Pay them and pay them well. That's what I would tell you. You don't want to go in there with a subpar art form, because like I said, it's just like that shiny glove and the sniper thing. That shine is the artwork of your comic. It is the first thing that people are going to see, and then they're going to see everything else. They're going to see the beauty of the story that you've written. They're going to see the drama and everything. But that artwork is the catch. The art is the hook. It's got to be the thing that gets people to draw them into it. If you ever see, and I'll use Marvel as an example one more time, a classic Marvel. If you ever look at and have ever seen a J. Scott Campbell cover for Spider-Man or Black Widow or something like that, J. Scott Campbell, he draws some fantastic looking women, and he makes women just look sexy as hell. If you've ever seen one of his covers, you automatically go, I really want to look inside that book, because this looks sexy and fun, and I want to get involved in this. And that's what you need to go for as a comic book creator. If you're going to do the Indiegogo route, my suggestion is go for visual medium. You need to have, and the books that sell the best, look at Ethan Van Sciver, look at Jawbreakers, look at Fatal. Fatal has fantastic art. Look at Bigfoot Bill, has really good quirky art. The art is what sells the comic. This is what draws people in. The story is almost secondary. It is necessary to have a good story. Yes, you should have a good story. But your story is never going to be written if the people don't see the art and like the art. If the art doesn't draw them into the comic book, then you really have nothing. What's the point of writing your story? No one will ever see it. Anyway, I guess that's all I'm going to end on this picture here, because I'm sick and tired of looking at that cancer over there at Marvel. Anyway, stay safe, everybody. Stay frosty. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notification. I got my outro all messed up. But again, stay safe, stay frosty, folks, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye now.